Hello again, I am Blunty, and obviously this is God of War 3, specifically the HD remaster that just hit the PS4. Now, just as a quick aside, I do apologise if you hear some ugly background clanging and banging and grinding and other noises. There's construction going on nearby, and apparently they'll be at it for days and days, so it's either record now or just not be able to do this video. So please bear with it, I do apologise. Now, I gotta be honest here, I had no intention of actually playing this game. I played it originally when it first came out on the PS3 back in 2010, I think. I should have double checked that before I started this video, but I think I'm close. And it's not like I didn't enjoy it. The God of War games are wonderful examples of modern day beat 'em up, hack and slash, action adventure type thing, whatever genre you want to plow it into, you know the type of game. It's the type of game I really enjoy, actually. Complete power fantasy. You just run about punching and slashing and tearing and throwing and generally obliterating anything that moves that happens to be in your way, or next to your way, or in the line of sight of your way. Sometimes you'll even go out of your way just so you can wail on some poor bastard, just because the combat is that much fun. But aside from that, as I said, I felt no great need to go buy this remake, or remaster if you like the more marketing-friendly name for re-releasing an almost identical product all over again a few years later to make some money. Cynical. Anyway, I felt like I got all I wanted to get out of the game the first time around. But the Aussie Sony folk kindly sent me a copy and were all, "Hey Blunty, you want to check this out?" And I was all, "Alrighty then, I already know it's a good game, but I might as well see how much prettier it is this time around, all rezzed up and whatnot, so why not?" And here we are. But the thing is, this game wasn't actually made for the likes of me. See, the last generation of consoles, the Xbox 360 was the console of choice generally speaking, and there were more people playing more often on the 360, and many 360 owners never even owned a PS3 to begin with. But this generation, oh, it's a different story. This is the complete inverse. The PlayStation 4 is the monster. It is a beauty of a beastie, and it is the most popular choice, played more often by more people by a wide margin. And of course, alongside with that switch in the market comes the simple conclusion that there are many people out there who were solo 360 owners last generation who have now switched out to the Sony side of the force. And that, of course, means there's probably a real good fistful of the best PlayStation 3 games that they never even got to play, and that's where these remaster thingies come in. God of War 3 Remastered is the Switch's way into finding out what all the fuss was about in the God of War series, because it did make a big splash. So then, the question becomes, why the third and final chapter in the original core trilogy? Why remake the last one? On the surface it seems like a dumb move, and indeed when the announcement was made, I did my snarky Twitter thing and mocked the decision mercilessly. I mean, if you're gonna open the door to old 360 folk who switched, why not do the whole trilogy? I mean, that's what they did with Sly Cooper. They did the whole trilogy on one disc, and that was awesome! And if you're only going to do one of them, why not do the second one, God of War 2, which many, if not most, of the original God of War players and fans consider to be the best one. I consider it to be the best one, and I do kinda wish they remastered that one instead. But I have since come to terms with the logic of doing the third one. See, the third one was easily the most spectacular, visually speaking. The set pieces were immense and huge, and those big sweeping moments of drama. From the very first minute of gameplay, it just gobsmacks you with the gloriousness of it all. And here, under the newly polished high-def visuals swimming along at 60 frames per second in 1080p, it rather unsurprisingly looks better than ever. It is, in the truest sense of the word, spectacular. The huge and detailed set pieces look glorious, the brutal battles and enemy kill animations, even the QuickTime events. Yes, this game is from the era where QuickTime events were just everywhere. All look truly delightful in their own blood-soaked, hyper-violent way. And of course, being the third in the series, the fighting is the most polished it ever was. It's not as complex or as precise as the games that followed in its footsteps in more recent years, and to be honest, it really has begun to feel slightly dated. And I don't mean that in a detrimental way. It still plays wonderfully well, and it's still a big bowl of bloody fun. But I mean, it feels dated in the same way that even older classic console and arcade games do these days. You play them now with a new frame of reference for how the gameplay feels, and it feels dated. And finally, as the last justification for doing the final game as the remake, as the last in the core trilogy, this game also offers a bit of a look back at what brought Kratos, the pale god-murdering machine, to this point in his life. There's enough backstory for brand new players to get enough context to enjoy the story as it progresses. But frankly, and honestly, I never really cared that much about the story in these games. It is not sophisticated storytelling. It really is just chunks of exposition to give our hero, or anti-hero, Mr. Pale-Faced McMuscle Bulge here, a good excuse to sword violate as many future bloodstains as possible. Sorry. Sword violate. I can't even say that with a straight face. I wrote it here in my notes, but I can't say it without laughing. Sword violate. This is just a very, very visceral image, isn't it? Anyway, but at least the simple storytelling is well delivered and thus not distracting from the actual game. But I played it for its viscerally superb hack-and-slash combat, the glorious setting and cool monsters, and its satisfying balance of level traversal, fairly simple puzzle solving, and, of course, combat. If you're one of the people who switched to the PlayStation this generation and never played this game a half-decade ago when it tore through the PS3, now is your chance, and you should absolutely take the chance. It is 100% worth playing if brutal, bloody action-adventure games are your thing. But if you're like me, and you did play it back in 2010 or soon after, then you can feel okay in skipping it. I mean, it looks epic, it looks better than ever, of course it does, but nothing else has really changed about it. However, it still could be nice to have in your collection for those days when all you want to play is a moderately mindless old-school hacker where you get to run about like a corpse blender on legs. So keep an eye on it, maybe wait for it to come on sale or something, as I don't know if a 55 Aussie dollar price tag is worth spending on a replay of this game. But again, for those new to the series, I doubt you'll have any buyer's remorse at that price. Depending on how you play, there's about 10 to 20 hours worth of pretty fun gameplay here, and that feels like a good value balance. And really, God of War is one of those games you really do have to get under your belt at some point as a gamer. Otherwise, you'll always wonder what all the fuss was about. And take it from me, it is worth finding out what all the fuss was about, because, yeah, look at it, it's fun. Look at it, it's fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.